Hello guys and welcome back to another skill point guide video for Total War Warhammer on Immortal Empires. Today we'll be going over Morghur. Morghur's a really great one. The fact that he is a Mortis engine rather, without having to be in melee, is very powerful, as well as, if you're unfamiliar, him starting with loads of missile resistance and loads of spell resistance. Now he is a little bit all over the place for a melee lord in terms of his special skill line. It's not going to look your traditional do this, do that, and then kind of go, just go in order. It's going to be a little jumpy here and there, so just bear with me, and we'll get through it. Now, he does provide quite a few bonuses. He provides spell resistance for the entire army. He remains wounded no more than one turn, and he's immune to alpha lore attrition, which is pretty handy once you're actually going into that area. And he also buffs the absolute crap out of Chaos Spawn and Jabber Slice, which, if you're unfamiliar with the Beastmen upgrade their unit capacities via the Dread mechanic. So if you look at unit caps, one, you have to get enough Marks of Ruination to unlock each set of tier, but then once you do that, it costs Dread to increase the capacity. So it does take some time to get more Jabber Slice, for example, and Chaos Spawn to fill out his ranks, but eventually the Chaos Spawn and Jabber Slice are very powerful in his army. But nonetheless, let's jump on in. I do like to start with his blue line. Yes, I said start. And then I do like to grab the Blessed by Evil for the extra chance of stealing a magic item, and also mainly the income from post-battle loot, because that's how you will make the majority of your money there. And then I just like to finish up with Fatigued Gallop for some extra casualty replenishment rate, and then Unholy Resilience just to make sure he gets loads of replenishment over the end turn. He's going to be picked on quite a bit. He's the Lord, he's a giant Mortis engine, he does loads of damage, and eventually the AI is going to pick up on that and they're going to go for him. And unfortunately, he does not have very good stats to begin with. He's got really low melee stats, his armor is non-existent, his weapon strength is nothing fantastic because only 25% of it is armor piercing. So he's just not great in melee, and he's just literally a Mortis engine. He's like the Mortis engine, Unholy Lodestones, those kind of things, where you want them in melee, you want them in the fight, but not in the fight, if that makes sense. Granted, he does have regeneration, which does help a little bit, but it's still something you got to look out for, where if you end up fighting like Tyrion or really any basic melee lord, even like generic Empire ones, they can probably take him down. So just be on the lookout for that. Now after this, I do like to come down his red line a little bit and do the Beast Lord Spite, as well as the freakish mutations. The Beast Lord Spite is just for the Ungor Raiders. I usually end up going with them a lot of the time for some speed, ammunition, and reload time reduction. And the freakish mutations is just for the Chaos Spawn and Jabber Slice for later on in the campaign, just to make them a little stronger in melee there. Now that we've done the blue and red line a little briefly, we're going to come back and do his special skill line, because he's got some good stuff in here. The Arbor of Fury is good just for the Primal Fury aspect of it. Now, this is really good if you end up doing a full Chaos Spawn army, because this applies when the leadership is higher than 50% of the base. The thing is with Chaos Spawn is they're unbreakable, so they're always going to have that ability active, because their leadership is never going to falter, so they're always going to have that extra speed, charge bonus, and melee attack +5 there. So really good there if you end up going with that route. Now the Abstraction of Sinch is probably the biggest one. It gives Jabber Slice more of a Mortis engine effect. It gives horrible regeneration for Chaos Spawn units, so they can come back from the dead. And they will also regenerate, so they'll keep coming back from the dead. Get melee defense as well as some weapon strength. So really good buff there. Just absolutely makes them into incredible tanks. Really good army there. Now I do like to grab the Herald of Corruption for the campaign movement range. The Chaos Corruption is whatever, but the campaign movement range is the big one, so I really like to grab that. The Force for Change, I don't really care about that. The AI on harder difficulty doesn't really take attrition to begin with, and the income from raiding I'm just not really concerned with, because it's not going to be the main the main point of your income generation. I do like to grab the Profane Blessings just to grab some ancillaries. Some of them are pretty good, as you can see here. I'm just going to pause and let you look at them. Some of them can be good, some of them can be not so good. It kind of just depends up to the player what they think. And then I like to do the touch of corruption. It upgrades it from poison, and it just does a damage over time ability as they're fighting them. So I really do like to grab that. And now in these skills here, in the special skills side of things, it locks one in, locks one out, that kind of thing. I prefer the missile resistance instead of the weapon strength and melee attack for him personally, just because, again, he's not like a melee lord, even though like he needs to be in the area that melee, you know, skirmishes are going on, but you don't want him actually trying to fight people. You just want him around the area to be doing his Mortis engine. So for that reason, I grab the missile resistance. That way too, I grab the missile resistance for his army. So if we look at Chaos Spawn, they have little to no armor, so they need more missile resistance, or as much as they can get. Same with the Jabber Slice, they don't have much missile resistance either, and that's more important than just a little more weapon strength. Resistances are always very, very powerful. Now, after the special skill line, I do like to come back and actually finish his blue line. I want Foul Premonition, so I have more ambush success chance. As the Beastman, your basic stance is ambushing, so the more likelihood that you can ambush, the better. You'll get the jump on your enemies, that's really good. And then I like to do the Gathering of the Beasts for the Horde recruitment, and then the Children of Chaos mainly for the campaign movement range again. But the Horde recruitment is just good. That way, if you end up taking loads of casualties and you need to really quickly fill up your ranks, you can do that in no time there. And then after finishing the blue line a little bit, I like to come up and finish the red line with the Call of Violence, and then just doing the Bestial Butchers, because I end up doing the Chaos Spawn or Jabber Slice or a combination of the two. Usually do a combination just because it takes a long time, you know, to get like 19 Jabber Slice or 19 Chaos Spawn. It just takes loads of dread, and you usually don't end up seeing that until the later parts of your campaign. So grabbing Bestial Butchers, do like to do Apocalyptic Vision, because you're going to be fighting more or less in kind of an area where he's going to be able to provide his Mortis Engine effect, which means he's going to be able to provide the melee attack and leadership in the area for 18 seconds there. So good ability, like to grab that. Now after that, it's finally when I like to come down his melee line. It's not really everything in his melee line, it's just about making him tankier. So I like to grab some Primal Instincts for melee defense, Hatred of Man for melee attack. Speed and charge bonus is good. Definitely want to grab the hit points. You want to grab Indomitable because you don't want him to break. And then grabbing the Price Horns for more melee defense. It's really just about making him more powerful and more durable. Again, because he's not going to dish out that much damage because his weapon strength, he doesn't have much armor piercing, so he just needs to be able to defend himself as much as possible. And his speed's not really high, even though he's got a really good charge bonus already. So I typically bypass the Deadly Onslaught, but you can get it later on, but we'll see how many points we have at the end there. Now I do like to grab him some more spell resistance, as well as Shadow Hide for more missile resistance. So later on in the campaign, you can see here, we're already at 105% missile resistance, so any non-magical missiles are going to be blocked by 90% against him, and spell resistance, he's up to 60%, which throughout the course of the campaign, you'll get items with ward save, or even spell resistance itself. So the big thing you have to worry about is just physical and magical damage, excuse me. So again, that's why you want to keep him out of melee. I cannot emphasize that enough. I know I've said that a few times already in the video, but really you just want him in the area doing his thing with his Mortis Engine of the Aura of Vile Transmutation. He doesn't actually need to fight, he just needs to be tanky and avoid melee combatants and skirmishes with other lords. Now, wrapping up, we still have 5 points to spend. Really can't go wrong. You can keep going down his melee line if you so want to. The armor would be good, but the fact that his armor is so minimal anyway, grabbing an extra 15 isn't going to make that big of a difference. I personally like to do the Fueled by Blood for the extra speed and vigor loss reduction for your army. That way they are a little faster and they fight longer or they fight better for longer, so they won't get as tired. And then I just like to do Mentor. That way he spreads his knowledge to the other lords in your campaign. And then I just end up doing Gathering of the Beast just to grab myself an extra Horde recruitment capacity +3. That way, again, I can just bump it up another one. Now I know that was a lot to go through. I know it's a lot very different from the previous ones that I've done, because I'm not going all the way down the special skill line or the melee line, that kind of thing. It's kind of all over the place, but definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the video, and don't forget to turn on that bell icon as well. And until the next video live stream, hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.